New construction at Harridan, an expanded choice zone, a move away from Walsh Valley's California-style campus, a fourth lunch at Harridan, all that and more on a special, in-depth Ricky Reports on Lower Merion School District Enrollment Growth. Ricky Reports starts now.
Hello, Wiki Reports here at the District Administration Building, where since May of 2012, the school board has been meeting to talk about enrollment growth. In this special, in-depth report, I will talk about enrollment growth in Lower Merion School District that will put some schools over capacity and what choices the district will have to make as they endeavor to fix this problem. So due to growth in population, Lower Merion School District must add classrooms. In the elementary schools, classrooms will be added to Gladwin and Penn Valley. At Ballackinwood Middle School, the district has found the solution by converting spaces already in the school to new classrooms. However, the final details for adding classrooms for Walsh Valley is still up for debate. But at the high schools, the situation is much more complicated because the district must balance enrollment at both schools in order to offer the same courses and programs at both Harridan and Lower Merion. To achieve this, back in 2009, when they built the new schools, the district had to decrease the size of the choice zone, which is an area where students had the choice of going to either one of the two high schools. This effectively shuffled students that had the choice of going to LM or Harridan to only being able to go to Harridan. This angered some Lower Merion parents who felt that the move was racially motivated. They sued the district in a redistricting battle that nearly made it to the Supreme Court, and in 2011, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit ruled that the plan to reassign 9 African American students to Harridan did not violate their constitutional rights. Although the parents lost the case, the district eventually acknowledged that balancing the racial makeup of the two schools was one goal of the redistricting. But under the new plan, those students can go to their old school again. So currently, there are two things the district can do: expand the choice zone or not expand the choice zone. If they expand the choice zone, the possibilities are that both schools will have approximately the same number of students, or that 40% of the students will go to Harridan and 60% will go to LM. But if they don't expand the choice zone, Harridan will be over capacity in 4 to 6 years. First, I will talk about the high schools where a projected enrollment increase of more than 18% in the next 10 years has the Lower Merion School District Administration recommending the construction of additional classrooms at Lower Merion High School, Harridan High School, or both. Now, when the new Harridan High School was built, the number of students in the school was approximately 850. That was in 2009. Now, it's 5 years later, and the number of students in the school is 1,188. Keep in mind that the school only has a capacity of 1,400, and according to the original 2011 DeJong-Healy report, if no action is taken, Harridan High School will exceed capacity in the next 4 to 6 years. In fact, the school is projected to have 1,628 students by 2021. That is an increase of 524 students from 2011. It has become obvious that something must be done. And to make matters worse, it is not just a problem at Harridan. Enrollment is growing all over the district. The school board has been presented with 3 scenarios concerning enrollment growth. The first scenario is if the district decides to stick with the status quo, meaning not expanding the choice zone. In this scenario, Harridan would reach capacity by 2018, and by 2021, Harridan would need 10 new classrooms and 7 more classrooms at Lower Merion. That means construction in Harridan not even 10 years after the new Harridan High School was built. These are early concepts released by KCBA architects showing what the new classrooms would look like. In this model, the new classrooms would be in the form of a 3-story addition adjacent to the fitness center. Harridan's principal, Scott Eveslog, stated in one of the board meetings that Harridan needs more science lab rooms. In In response to his statement, 4 of the 10 classrooms that may be built at Harridan would be science classrooms. It is also worth mentioning that Mr. Avislog also said that Harridan in the next few years will need to add a 4th lunch. This would require a significant change in Harridan's schedule. The second scenario is an expanded choice zone with 50% of students in the choice zone going to Harridan and 50% going to LM. In this scenario, there would be a need for 6 more classrooms at Harridan and 10 more. The reason why these are just scenarios is because the district has no direct control over where students in the choice zone go. The third scenario would be a 40-60 split with 40% of students in the expanded choice zone going to Harridan and 60% of students in the choice zone going to Lower Merion High School. At Harridan, if the first or second scenario proves true, new classrooms would definitely need to be built. Lower Merion High School, on the other hand, could take advantage of the district administration building known as the DAO and utilize the 16 classrooms inside of it. This means that anyhow at Lower Merion, no new construction is necessary. A scenario that is not even being considered is a return to the pre-2009 school boundaries when there was a 25-75 split. When asked why this is not being considered as a scenario, Superintendent McGinley answered,
"It was changed because we reviewed the numbers and we reviewed this issue actually with our consultant also. We don't see that that's a viable assumption to make that it would go back to 25-75. Part of it."
If in the unlikely event that that split did happen, Harridan would not be over capacity at all or before 2021. Along with the permanent addition option, the board is also looking into the possibility of putting modular classrooms near the locker rooms. This would be similar to the M building, which is what Harridan had before 2009 in the old school. Nevertheless, due to the projected high school enrollment increase of more than 25%, Harridan will eventually go over capacity. It could happen in the next 8 years, or it could happen in the next 20 years. The point I'm trying to get across is that new classrooms will need to be created, or students and staff will face the consequences such as students being packed in like sardines. Don't believe my word for it? We'll take it from a letter sent out by Board President Melissa Gilbert. She wrote, "Without proper planning, we will exceed capacity at both Harridan and Lower Merion within the next 4 to 6 years. The exact timing of when we will exceed capacity at the high schools has been subject to some debate, but the numbers are clear. This is a matter of when, rather than if." Now that is just the high school side of this story. All over the district, enrollment growth has been increasing. At the elementary school level, 2 schools will need major renovations. The first school needing major renovations is not only the largest elementary school in the district, it is also the fastest growing elementary school in the district. That school is Gladwin Elementary. Enrollment at Gladwin is set to peak in 2016 with 100 more students than it had in 2011. Gladwin needs 4 more classrooms that will most likely be added onto the 3rd grade wing. But for the moment, students at Gladwin will have to make do with the 6 modular classrooms that were set up on the playing field over the summer. The second elementary school is Penn Valley, which is set to peak at 650 students in 2015. The construction being proposed there is to build a 4-classroom addition on the end of the 4th and 5th grade wing of the school. At Ballackinwood Middle School, a Gilbert study shows that they need 6 more classrooms. This would involve the conversion of locker rooms and an auxiliary gym into general classrooms. The district plans to also move the administrative offices to the main entrance. And finally, here at Welsh Valley is the most costly and most large-scale project in the entire district, all because enrollment is growing right here, the fastest, right here at Welsh Valley, where enrollment is projected to increase by 285 students. Already here at Welsh Valley, modular classrooms have gone up. Welsh Valley currently needs 12 more classrooms. When the original study was created, it looked like Welsh Valley needed 16 more classrooms. Back in 2012, the district was originally looking at renovating the former St. Justin Martyr Church that the district bought last year for $2.5 million. There were ideas about utilizing its space and property for classrooms or even a new kindergarten center that would consolidate the kindergarten programs at Gladwin, Penn Valley, and Belmont Hills. But it was deemed too costly. So for now, the church will stay, possibly being used for future projects, and the school will use the well-needed parking lot. The second option that was being considered last year was to build a 2-story, 16-classroom addition to what is known as the Link, but this plan was also rejected for a few reasons. First, there was a hill that created grading issues. Second, the hallway that would lead to the addition was too small, and additionally, there was one other major factor that I'm about to speak about. At Walsh Valley, it's more than just enrollment, it's safety. Last year, after the Sandy Hook shootings, the district decided that because of Walsh Valley's California-style campus, it was vulnerable to intruders. The first thing that the school did was put up fences around the perimeter, and second is to build a new classroom addition that Walsh Valley needs right in between the gym and the A building and Link. This would effectively close up the campus, creating 2 interconnected buildings that would make it easier to walk around the school. These are some renderings recently released by Gilbert Architects about what the new building would look like. The district seems to have come to a consensus about where they want the addition to be. What they are trying to decide now is what color they want the building to be and what they want the facade to be made out of. Another problem that building this addition would solve at Walsh Valley is making Walsh Valley much more handicap accessible. Other changes for Walsh Valley would include relocating the teacher's dining room to the sewing room. This would allow more students to fit in the cafeteria, so Walsh Valley would not need a 4th lunch. Where the sewing room would be relocated to is unknown for the moment. Another major change for Walsh Valley that goes along with the safety issue is creating an indoor lobby and new administration building. Originally, they were actually going to build a 2-story administration building, but it was too expensive. This all means that when students come to school in the morning, they will have to go through a building to get to their classes. Also, the nurse's office would get a much larger nurse's suite. Student enrollment in the district peaked in the 70s and has been steadily increasing since 1989, and it has increased much more rapidly in the last 5 years. District enrollment grew nearly 13% in the period from 2008 to 2012, and is projected to increase another 18% in the next 10 years. During the 2009-2010 school year, enrollment surpassed 7,000 students for the first time since 1979, and the next year, enrollment is expected to surpass the 8,000 mark for the first time since 1976. The difference between now and the 70s is back in the 70s, more schools in the district for more students. As the district makes choices regarding enrollment growth, I will be sure to keep you informed. Just go to hhsbanner.com, and for more information on enrollment growth in the district, just go to the district website and click enrollment growth right on the home page. I encourage you to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and if you have anything to say, leave it in the comments. The school board is expected to make its choice whether or not to expand the choice zone on November 18th in the district administration building. For more Harridan news, announcements, sports, and more, go to hhsbanner.com. Oh, one more thing. The cost of this project ranges from $30 to $42 million, but that's a whole nother story. In front of Walsh Valley Middle School, reporting for the Harridan Banner, I am Ricky Reports.
Move closer to your world, my friend, and you'll see.